My cousin stole my fiancée, but karma took its time. 8 years ago when I was 30, I was engaged to someone I truly believed was my forever person. Let's call her Vanessa. She was 29 then, 37 now, and we'd been together for 5 years, living together for 3. Our wedding was just 4 months away. At the time, I thought I had it all. Vanessa was everything I'd ever dreamed of, brilliant in her career as a graphic designer, fiercely independent, and effortlessly beautiful. She challenged me in the best ways. We talked about traveling the world, buying our first home, having kids. I used to wake up every morning thinking, how did I get this lucky? And it wasn't just me who thought she was special. My parents adored her. My friends constantly told me how lucky I was. And then there was my cousin Ryan. Ryan and I grew up almost like brothers. He was just a year younger than me, always tagging along, always competitive, but family. We shared holidays, birthdays, everything. I never once thought of him as a threat. But looking back, I can see the signs. The way he looked at her. The little jokes he'd make when I wasn't around. The times he'd show up uninvited just to hang out. At the time, I brushed it off. I thought I was being paranoid. Turns out I should have trusted my gut. Things started small, so small I didn't even notice at first. Ryan would make little comments when Vanessa wasn't around. You sure she's the one? Or, man, she's way out of your league. He always played it off like a joke, but it never quite sat right. Then he started getting weirdly involved in our relationship. He'd text Vanessa directly. Things like, hey, you left your jacket at my place. Or, you should come to that party even if he's working late. At first I thought, whatever, he's just trying to be friendly. But then he started planting seeds. I'd get these vague warnings from people. Hey, I saw Vanessa out with some guy, thought you should know. Or, she seems really close with Ryan lately, huh? Stuff that made me start second-guessing things I never used to question. Then came the messages. One night, Ryan accidentally sent me screenshots, supposedly from Vanessa. Texts where she was flirting with someone else, talking about feeling stuck and not knowing if she was ready to settle down. They looked real. They even used her nickname for me. I remember staring at my phone, heart pounding, trying to process what I was seeing. I confronted her. She was completely blindsided. Swore she had no idea what I was talking about. She even showed me her phone. Nothing matched. The texts weren't there. But the doubt had already taken root. And Ryan, he just kept fanning the flames. 3 weeks before the wedding, everything fell apart. Vanessa and I were barely speaking. I was cold, suspicious. She was confused, hurt, constantly asking me what had changed, and I couldn't give her an answer that made sense, even to me. All I had were those fake texts, the whispers in my ear, the feeling that something was off. Then came the final blow. Ryan called me one night, said he didn't know how to tell me, but that I deserved to know, said Vanessa had been cheating on me for months, and he had proof. He told me to come over. I drove there like a man possessed, my heart in my throat. And there it was, a video on his laptop. Vanessa, in someone else's bed. The angle was grainy, but it looked like her. Same voice, same tattoo on her shoulder, same laugh. It was time-stamped just 2 weeks earlier, on a night she'd said she was visiting her sister. I felt like I was watching my entire future disintegrate. I didn't even give her a chance to explain. I packed a bag and left, called off the wedding, blocked her, ghosted everyone. I went completely dark. And Ryan? He was there, checking in, supporting me, making sure I had everything I needed. And then, just 2 months later, he posted a photo. Him and Vanessa, together, holding hands, smiling, captioned, "Sometimes love finds you when you least expect it." It broke me. Not because I still wanted her, but because he had played us both. I was sure of it. But I had no proof. Not yet. After that photo dropped, I hit a level of pain I didn't even know was possible. I moved out of our apartment that same night. Left everything. Furniture, photos, the wedding invitations we never sent out. I didn't want any of it. I wanted to erase the last 5 years of my life. And that's exactly what I tried to do. For almost a year, I was a ghost. I stopped going to work, cut off friends, ignored my family. I crashed on a friend's couch, then someone else's, then just drifted. Week to week. Drink to drink. I gained 30 pounds. Stopped shaving. I'd wake up at 2 p.m., cracked phone screen still lit up with messages from people asking if I was okay. I never answered. I remember one night, I was sitting in the back of a dive bar, already blackout drunk, when I picked a fight with some guy over absolutely nothing. He bumped into me, barely. I shoved him. He shoved back. I swung. 2 punches later, I was in the alley, blood on my lip, crying like a damn child. And the worst part? A tiny, pathetic part of me still missed her. Still wondered if maybe she chose Ryan because I had changed. Because I was no longer enough. That thought haunted me more than the betrayal. I was angry. At her. At Ryan. But mostly, at myself. For trusting. For believing. For loving. It was like everything I ever thought I knew about love, loyalty, family was just gone. And that was my life. Until the night I almost drove off a bridge. The night I almost drove off the bridge wasn't dramatic. No thunderstorm. No flashing lights. Just me, sitting in my car, engine running, staring down into dark water. I didn't want to die. I just didn't want to feel anymore. Not the betrayal, not the shame, not the endless hollow ache that came from waking up and remembering everything I'd lost. What stopped me wasn't some grand epiphany, it was a text. From my older sister. Just one line. You don't have to go through this alone. I didn't answer, but I turned the engine off, drove home, didn't sleep that night. The next morning I stood in the mirror and barely recognized the man looking back at me. That was the first day I admitted I needed help. But getting better wasn't some magical transformation. It was ugly. I started therapy, but I hated it at first. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to feel. Every session felt like ripping open old wounds I'd worked hard to bury. I tried going back to work, but I'd sit in meetings, numb. Couldn't focus, couldn't care. I was behind on bills, had no savings. I'd burned so many bridges with the people who cared about me that rebuilding those connections felt almost impossible. I'd go 3 steps forward, then 5 back. Some days I'd wake up and actually feel like myself again. Other days I'd lie on the floor wondering if I'd ever really be okay. But slowly, painfully, things started to shift. I got a new job, small company, nothing glamorous, but it gave me structure. I went to therapy consistently. I reconnected with my mom, who cried the first time she saw me sober and clean-shaven again. I apologized to friends I'd ghosted. Some welcomed me back. Others didn't. And then, one day, years later, I met someone. Not someone to fix me. Someone who reminded me that I still had value, that I was more than what Ryan and Vanessa took from me. But I'll get to her later. Because 8 years after the betrayal, something happened that changed everything. Ryan got drunk at a family reunion, and he confessed. I wasn't looking for love. Honestly, I didn't think I deserved it. But healing has a funny way of creeping in, even when you're not ready. I met Leah at a community volunteer event my therapist practically dragged me into. It was a Saturday cleanup at a park. I was there hauling trash bags, just trying to stay out of my own head. She was leading the event. She had this calm energy, confident but soft-spoken. She wasn't flashy, didn't try to impress anyone, but when she laughed, it felt like the world got 5 degrees warmer. We talked, swapped stories. I found out she was a single mom. Her daughter Maya was 7. Her ex bailed when she was a baby. Leah had been doing everything on her own for years. We started slow. Coffee turned into dinners, dinners into weekends. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't haunted by the past. I was curious about the future. But it wasn't easy. Maya didn't like me at first, at all. She was polite, but cold. Wouldn't look me in the eye. Gave one-word answers. Anytime I'd try to be playful or helpful, she'd retreat, either into her room or behind her mom's leg. I couldn't blame her. I was some strange man suddenly showing up in their lives, and I was terrified of messing it up, of scaring her, of pushing too hard, of repeating old mistakes. There were nights I'd lie awake thinking, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm just not good enough for this family. But Leah, she never gave up on me. She told me to be patient, to show up, consistently, kindly, quietly. So I did. I learned how to braid doll hair, sat through tea parties and Disney marathons, showed up at school plays and soccer games. Never tried to be her dad, just someone she could count on. And one day, out of nowhere, Maya handed me a drawing. It was the 3 of us, stick figures, holding hands. She'd written in messy crayon letters, "My family." I kept that drawing. Still have it framed on my desk. That's when I knew. This wasn't just a rebound. This was real, hard-earned, honest, and mine. But just when I thought I'd closed the chapter on the past for good, Ryan opened his damn mouth. 8 years had passed. 8 years since the betrayal, the lies, the breakdown. I'd built a new life, a better one, with Leah and Maya. We weren't perfect, but we were solid, real. Then came the family reunion. I hadn't been to one in years, but my mom begged me to go. Said it was time to reconnect. Said Ryan and Vanessa weren't together anymore. Something about growing apart. That alone should have felt like justice, but I'd buried the past so deep, I didn't think I needed it anymore. So I went. Leah came too, and Maya. We kept to ourselves mostly. Made small talk, ate barbecue, smiled for the sake of family. Then it happened. Maya had wandered off to look for the bathroom. She ended up passing by the back porch, where Ryan and 2 of my uncles were drinking. They were laughing, loud, careless, half-drunk. She heard one of them joke. "Still can't believe you pulled that off back then? Stealing your cousin's girl? Savage." Ryan, laughing harder than he should have, slurred out, "Man, I made all that up. Faked the texts. Even that video. Total deepfake crap I found online. I just had to have her, and it worked." He thought he was bragging. Maya didn't say anything. She just walked away. Quiet. Observant. Like always. Later that night, back at home, she pulled Leah aside and whispered, "Mom, I heard something bad. About Ryan." Leah told me right away, and I just froze. I didn't want to believe it because deep down, I already knew it was true. I'd always known. But hearing that he admitted it, something inside me cracked open. I didn't yell. I didn't call him out. I just waited. A week later, Ryan came by my mom's house, still acting like nothing had happened. I was there, and I looked him in the eyes and said, "Funny thing about kids, they hear everything." His face went pale. He tried to deny it at first, backpedaled, said he was drunk. Joking, said I'd moved on so it didn't matter anymore. But this time, I didn't lose it. I just smiled and said, "You didn't just destroy my engagement. You destroyed any respect this family ever had for you." And I walked out. No screaming, no revenge, just quiet, calm truth. It turns out, Vanessa had already left him. She'd found out little pieces of the truth over the years. That confession, it just confirmed everything. A few days later, she reached out to me, begging for a chance to talk. A few days after Ryan's drunken confession unraveled, I got a message from Vanessa. "Can we talk? Please, just once. You deserve the truth." I stared at the screen for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore it. Another part, the quieter, angrier one, wanted answers I never got all those years ago. So we met, at a small cafe near where we used to live. She looked older, tired. Not bad, just worn down in a way that made it clear life hadn't exactly gone her way either. She didn't waste time. "I know what Ryan said," she began, "and I believe he did it. I should have seen it back then, but I didn't. Or maybe I didn't want to." I didn't say anything, I just let her talk. She swallowed hard. "But there's something else. And if I don't say it, it's going to eat me alive." Then came the part I didn't see coming. "I wasn't cheating with Ryan," she said, "but I was cheating." Silence. My ears started ringing. She looked down. Couldn't meet my eyes. "It was someone from work," she admitted. "Just once. A stupid night after a stupid fight. You were pulling away and I felt like, I don't know, lonely, angry. I justified it to myself in 1,000 ways. Told myself it didn't mean anything. And then Ryan swooped in with his lies, and I saw a way out that let me pretend I wasn't the bad guy. She finally looked up. I let him take the fall. I let you believe I was innocent because it was easier than owning the truth. I felt nothing. No rage, no heartbreak, just emptiness. For 8 years, I'd been blaming Ryan. And yeah, he did sabotage me. But this meant the love I thought I was fighting for had already ended before I even realized it. She reached across the table. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry. Truly. For everything. I looked at her hand, then at her. And I said calmly, thank you for finally being honest. But you're right. This changes nothing. Then I stood up and walked away. Again. But this time I wasn't broken. I wasn't haunted. I was free. I thought that was the end of it. Vanessa had finally told the truth. Ryan had exposed himself as the snake he always was. I'd walked away from both of them with my dignity intact. I was ready to close the chapter for good. But then, 2 weeks later, I got a message from someone I never expected to hear from, Jacob. He used to be my best friend. We hadn't spoken in years, not since around the time everything with Vanessa fell apart. His message was short. Hey, I need to come clean about something. I should have told you years ago. We met up at a quiet bar, and when I walked in, he looked like he'd aged a decade. No small talk, just straight to it. He took a deep breath and said, it wasn't just a guy from Vanessa's work. It was me. Silence. My brain couldn't even process it at first. I didn't plan it, he said. She showed up one night after a fight with you, said things were bad, that you didn't trust her anymore. We drank. One thing led to another. I just stared at him. This was the guy who stood next to me the night I proposed. The guy who helped me move into the apartment I shared with her. Who knew every inch of my pain after the breakup and said nothing. I told myself it was a mistake, he went on. That it didn't matter because she was already gone, but I saw what it did to you. I saw you spiral, and I said nothing. I'm sorry. I didn't respond. I couldn't. My hands were shaking. I left without saying a word. That night, I didn't sleep. I laid next to Leah, staring at the ceiling, wondering how much of my life back then was real, and how much of it was just a story I told myself so I could function. This wasn't just about love anymore. It was about betrayal on a level I didn't know existed. Friends, family, a fiancé, all of them had played a part in my downfall. And the worst part? Not a single one of them had the decency to confess until years later, when their guilt finally outweighed their pride. But here's the thing about fire. Once it burns through everything fake, everything hollow, what's left is the truth. And the truth was this: I had survived all of them.